coming in here. I appreciate it. You know, for me, coming to these events, I started doing them this year for the first time. I'd never been out to any of the Comic Cons. I'd never met a lot of the fans. You go and you work in a sound studio, and you're there with the same 50 people all day, every day, and then you don't get to get out and meet everybody and hear real responses from the work you do. So it's really fun for me to get out and talk to people and hear what they have to say and answer any questions anybody may have, except for you, Jackie. In lieu of me standing here or sitting here and you know, going on and on, if there's any questions anybody has for me, I'm more than happy to answer them. I will not duck them. Maybe I'll duck one or two, but other than that, I plan on answering pretty much anything anybody has to ask. So,
any questions for Mr. King?
Rock and roll.
Oh, okay. Am I loud now?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. I was wondering how you felt being not only like the main character on Lost, but also just basically the whole movie.
Yeah, I did a film called Lost, not the series Lost, and it was actually like it really felt like an acting workshop, because it was me in a car for 90% of the film. Talking on the phone, a lot of other things took place, but it was me in a car having the conversations, and the camera stayed on me. So that was I was a little nervous, because you're going to carry the film or you're not going to carry the film, or it's going to be exciting or it's not. Great screenwriter, Darren Lemke, he directed it as well, told a really good story. The film turned out to be, I think, very good, and it was one of those films where you're like, wow, that's a cool little film. There was 4 of us in a car for 90% of the time. And the guy sitting there, Paul Imami is his name, he was the camera operator. He was in the passenger seat, all squished in the corner, and then I had a girl, or whoever it happened to be, I was supposed to be on the phone with someone hiding in the back seat, reading the lines opposite me, and then the director, and that was it. So we spent a lot of time driving around the deserts of Palmdale, California, 115-degree heat. You know about that in Winnipeg, right? But it was a lot of fun, and that's one of the films that I'm particularly proud of. Next question.
I know on Lois and Clark it was a really strict fitness regime for you. They were always stuffing with donuts. Did you ever get to eat anything?
Yeah, I got to eat during while we were filming. He would eat anything. We actually, one of the things we had to do, we would do things in what they would call super speed. There was one time where I had to eat an entire plate of spaghetti, and they would shoot it slowly. So I literally ate an entire plate of spaghetti, and then they play at a regular speed. It looks like I went right through it and just tore it up. Yeah, they weren't helping me much with that at all. We ended up putting a gym in Warner Brothers while I was doing the series. A lot of other shows came in around that time. After we finished our first season, a couple little shows, little small shows like ER and Friends, those little tiny shows, they came in, and so Warner Brothers put in a big gym and everything. That was great. But they did not help me stay in shape. They didn't give me any extra time to work out. I would get about 6 hours of sleep a night, and I would try to steal a workout anytime, any place I could. It helped that I was in my 20s, by the way. That was a lot easier. But the fitness regime was tough to keep up while shooting the show. That is for sure.
Next question. Oh, I'll ask you to raise your hands.
Hi. Well, in Lois and Clark, to me it seems like Superman was portrayed in a very different way from most of the films or other portrayals, in that it was more a story about Clark Kent and Superman's alter ego. How did you play that, and how did you feel that contributed to the show?
That's a very good question. Deborah Joy Levine was our creator. She came up with the concept before I ever even read the script, and that was the take they wanted. They wanted to take that Clark was just a regular guy, and he had to find the alter ego of Superman so that he could live his life as Clark Kent in anonymity, and then go do these wonderful things as Superman. What's funny about that is you see that so often in all of the films now. The films, it's constant. I'm like, I watch the films, I'm like, oh, we did that in season 2, episode 14. A lot of the things that the Spider-Man or the other characters are going through are moments that we played all the time on Lois and Clark. And I think that was absolutely integral to what was happening. I mean, the cuteness of it, his mom made the costume. It was something all of us can relate to. And what I loved about it so much is here you have the most powerful man on Earth. He's not a man, but he is a man. He's a strange visitor from another planet. But he has these wonderful small town values, and that's what makes him sort of the most moral man on Earth. And I just, just flipping it around and making it Clark Kent and wanting him to have a regular life, I think that really was the draw for the film. It was certainly the draw for the character, because I much more enjoyed playing Clark Kent than Superman. I always wanted Superman to be the man of action. I didn't like it when Superman was giving speeches or walking around doing things, or even having moments with Lois Lane. I didn't want those to be the case, because he's hiding in that sense, and I always liked it to be Clark. So that for me, I was always pushing. Is it an action scene where he's Superman? They're like, well, no, he's going to be standing. I'm like, come on, let's get him doing something. And so I think they did a very good job. My Superman, the character of Superman, when I was playing him, I based mine on the version that Christopher Reeve did. I thought he did a great job. For me, he was Superman. He was the one I grew up with. And then I look back at the other ones, and my Clark Kent was much closer to George Reeve's version, and that was a lot of fun. So sort of a combination between those two guys is kind of how I played it. But it was, flipping it around like that was the reason I think the show was successful.
How was it filming on Las Vegas? And I've noticed you choose a lot of gambling movies and TV. Is there something we should know about?
I don't have a gambling problem. I do like to gamble, to be honest. I do. I like playing cards. I like playing poker. I don't mind some blackjack. But I don't have a problem with that. That's it. But Las Vegas was a great series. It was a lot of fun. One of the best looking casts, male and female, that you'll ever find anywhere. The guys, Josh Duhamel, James LeJour, James Caan, I mean, they were fantastic. They were great. James LeJour and Josh Duhamel and I played basketball together all the time anyway, so we knew each other very well. The girls, just gorgeous. Vanessa Marcel, who played my wife on the show. Nikki Cox, they were just beautiful. Molly Sims. Every day you go to work, you have these gorgeous people. And you're playing, you're in Vegas. We actually shot in Culver City, so we didn't have to go to Vegas for it. It was 15 minutes from my house. It was pretty great. And we'd have these incredible guest stars come on. Whether it's John Elway and John Bon Jovi or whoever it happens to be, the Pussycat Dolls or things like that. It was the greatest job ever. I enjoyed that job quite a bit. I'm sorry that it went away. I actually took a series. Gary Scott Thompson, who created Las Vegas, created a new show called Protect and Serve. And I went and did the pilot for that, and we ended up not getting picked up. And that's the reason I didn't stay in Las Vegas. And then I think at the end for Las Vegas, the reason they ended up finishing up is it got very expensive. As any show does, the contract for some of the actors, and James Caan made a lot of money, and Josh Duhamel made a lot of money, and so it started becoming, I think, prohibitive to keep making new shows. And that's unfortunately, that's what happened to a lot of the shows.
Hi, Dean. Question. I had seen you on Stars and Stripes, and you finished first in like 4 of those missions. How was it for you to be on such a dangerous kind of situation like that? How did you feel working on that, and what was it like for you guys?
Stars and Stripes was a show for NBC that we shot this summer. We shot it in the month of June, and it was a big thank you to our military, for those of you who didn't see it. And what they did is they paired 8 celebrity-type people, all athletes. All of us were former athletes or current athletes. And they paired us up with real-life Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Delta Force operators, I mean, the real of the real. And they had us go on a bunch of training missions with these guys, and they were all live fire, all live pyro, real explosions, helicopters and things. It was, when they first asked me to do it, I said, well, maybe I'm not 28 anymore. I don't know that I wasn't ready to do that. I mean, I knew they were going to be. It's Mark Burnett, it's Dick Wolf. They're going to do it right, and they're going to expect a lot out of you. And so I tried to host it, and they said no. I said, no, it'd be great. I could be there and host it. I do all these things for the military as it is. I go over to Iraq and Afghanistan, and I go over and visit the troops. And, they're like, no, we don't want you to know, so we want you to be in it. And I was like, yeah, no, it's going to be hard. And so they talked me into doing it. And as we were going, I read a lot of these books that these former Special Forces guys write, and I read tons of political biographies and things like that. I find them interesting, but I really find that when the servicemen write a book or something, I find them amazing. And there was one I read called American Sniper, written by a gentleman named Chris Kyle. He's a Navy SEAL sniper, and he's an amazing guy. I had read that book prior to going on the show, and when we came in, they put us in helicopters. I mean, everything, as an actor, you're so coddled. I mean, literally, they're like if I have to jump off of this, there's gonna be like 3 people spotting me, and they're gonna be like, okay, are you good? 1, 2, and they have to be a pad down below. I'm like, God, seriously? That's what it's like when you're acting, but all of a sudden you go on something like Stars Aren't Stripes, and they're like, okay, put 70 pounds of gear on, a loaded assault rifle, and jump out of a plane, I mean a helicopter 30 feet into the water, and then swim 50 meters with no flotation. And you're like, what? And they're like, that's just how you start the mission. You kidding me? And that's what it was. So I jumped in there, I got in there, and they brought us all in to meet our operatives, and they started showing us the operatives, and I recognized right away Chris Kyle, who was an unbelievable operative, and I was fortunate enough to get paired up with him. I could have quit right there. Literally, I could have gone, okay, good, great to meet you, I'm done, great. But then we spent the next 4 weeks every day with him training me and talking about missions and going through stuff, and it was, you know, people ask, what was your favorite show to be a part of? The favorite show to make as an actor for me was Lois and Clark. Creating that show, that character, and that was fantastic. That's my favorite television show I've been a part of. The most inspiring thing I've ever done was Stars Aren't Stripes, without a doubt. The most challenging and the most inspiring, because there's a mental, the day one they brought in a psychologist, and I was already very nervous, and the psychologist guy says, okay, so we're here to make sure you're physically and mentally prepared, because you're going to get stressed out both physically and mentally. And the mental part might be the toughest. See, she's having trouble with it right now. And the mental part might be the toughest. And they were, he's like, I'm here to talk to you anytime you need it. Here's my phone number, 24 hours a day. And I was like, this is serious stuff. And I was no, I failed that one. The worst now it's bad. They were like, you get over here, and no gun for you. You get a plastic toy. And, it was amazing, and it really did. When suddenly you're standing on you're getting in the helicopter, you're strapping in, and you're up there, your feet dangling over the edge. I had never done that in a real helicopter. My feet dangling over the edge, and that's just getting over to the start of the mission. And it was just incredible. It was an incredible thing. I do the men and women in uniform do so much to keep us safe. I travel all over the world. I've been in a lot of situations where I have not been safe. I've been in a lot of situations, whether it was in Vietnam or Kenya or Eastern Europe, where you realize how few rights you have in another country. And I take my hat off to those who serve, because they really do keep us safe. And unfortunately, in a lot of parts of the world, the only thing people understand is force. So, unfortunately, force has to be used, and when it has to be used, I want these guys on our side. They're pretty amazing. I was fortunate enough to meet an Air Force personnel here in Winnipeg, who's been over in Afghanistan a bunch, and I was able to thank him for his service, because I'm telling you, those guys they're amazing, and I'm glad they're all on our side. Thank you for the question.